coming up on OU Nightly, we have a severe weather risk into Sunday night and early Monday morning. I will tell you more about this later on.
Feeding families in need, we're live at a Thanksgiving food giveaway. And a government shutdown avoided for now, the impact ahead. This is OU Nightly.
Thanks for watching OU Nightly. I'm Morgan Martin.
And I'm Ireland Fitzer. We begin tonight with a risk for severe weather this weekend.
The OU Nightly weather team is tracking a system that could bring storms to the state just as students head home for Thanksgiving.
Let's get right over to OU Nightly meteorologist Brianne Mraz with a first look at the forecast.
Thank you, Ireland. Yes, we do have a chance for severe weather into Sunday night and early into Sunday morning. Now, this is actually the day 4 severe weather outlook. Now, this could change between now and Sunday. This does include all modes of severe weather, but focusing on right now, we have feel-like temperatures at 63 degrees in Norman, 64 in Oklahoma City. Guyman sitting in the lower 70s, so a little bit warmer over there for them in the Panhandle. But as for the current wind speeds, we are sitting at 16 miles per hour in Norman, Guyman 11 miles per hour. This isn't really going to change how the weather feels outside, but coming up, I am going to be talking about the seasonable temperatures up ahead. We're staying dry right now, but that's not going to last for long because we have a chance for severe weather later on. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Brianne. And 1 week from today, many OU students will be home with their families sitting down to Thanksgiving dinner. But new information from the Department of Agriculture shows for a large number of Oklahomans, that dinner may not happen. Data from Hunger America reveals 10% of the people in the Norman area qualified as food insecure. OU Nightly's Mecca Thompson shows us how one nonprofit hopes to make a difference.
Good lunch. Anybody else need water?
Mission Norman is a local nonprofit in the community with a mission to serve the hungry and homeless in central Oklahoma. Last year, they served over 15,000 people, distributing more than 300,000 meals. Today, they continue to add to those numbers.
We've had 4,939 people come through those doors, and we feed roughly 700 families a month.
Data from the U.S. Department of Agriculture shows Oklahoma is among 6 of the country's most food insecure states, and Mission Norman is working to bridge that gap.
Mission Norman is meeting the needs. They're giving out encouragement and providing food as well as friendship.
Doors are open for volunteers, and members of the OU community continue to make a lasting impact on their efforts battling food insecurity.
I started, just gives me something to do, keeps me busy, and it also kind of makes you feel a little bit better about yourself, I guess.
And if you or someone you know is in need of a Thanksgiving meal for next week, you can stop by Mission Norman's Thanksgiving Drive. They'll have a box of all the ingredients.
Thursday and Friday, we're going to give away 1,000 turkey dinners to our clients and those who are needy, that want to come, families that need it, at Nelson Mazda.
You can see the details here. The boxes are free and on a first-come, first-served basis. Mecca Thompson, OU Nightly.
Norman's Food and Shelter hosts a free community meal on Thanksgiving Day. It takes place at Norman High School at 911 West Main Street from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. They say everyone is welcome.
And help is available from food banks across the area. Right now, the group Feeding the Children is partnering with Norman Regional Hospital to hand out food and necessary items to Norman families. OU Nightly meteorologist Chloe Arroyo is live at Trinity Baptist Church on Peter Street. Chloe, there are a lot of people in need.
That's right, ladies. I'm out here at the Trinity Baptist Church where the Norman Regional Hospital is partnering with Feed the Children to provide not only 1, but 2 events for No Hunger Holidays, a way for families to receive food, essential items, and even fun gifts like this for the holiday season for the kiddos. How fun is that? Now, volunteers are behind me working diligently hard on packing these boxes and even loading them into the cars. They've been here since 3 and they're going to be here until 5 p.m. They're bringing that holiday spirit on. They have Christmas music out here and even hot chocolate for the volunteers. And the best part is temperatures, as Bree was talking about, feeling really nice. I mean, it's that slight breeze along with it. Now, if you want to contribute to this cause, you can go to feedthechildren.org/nohungerholidays for more information. Reporting live, Chloe Arroyo, OU Nightly.
Thanks, Chloe. Today, State Superintendent Ryan Walters calling Oklahoma schools' latest report card unacceptable. The report shows a decline in reading, math, and science, giving the state an overall C, a decline from last year's B rating. The report takes into account attendance, academic achievements, and graduation rates. And Walters saying, quote, "We have to reform this education system. The status quo has failed. We have seen that in these results."
A stopgap bill to keep the government open is awaiting a signature from the president after passing the Senate last night. OU Nightly's Kevin Palomino talks to members of the military who say this legislation doesn't entirely fix the problem.
10 weeks of heated tensions in Congress.
You stand your butt up.
Oh, hold on.
Begin to cool after Democrats and Republicans approved a temporary funding bill last night to avoid a government shutdown.
Just lay it on the table.
But members of the military say a stopgap bill isn't something to celebrate.
The continuing resolution just kind of kicks the can a little further down the road for us.
These two Army members say a bill like the one passed by Congress this week is just enough to help them get by.
Helicopter parts are very expensive and they take up a lot of funding, and we're having issues with the state funding parts, accepting orders for parts for broken helicopters because they don't know whether they're going to get funding.
Now you're having to tear something apart, which takes 2 or 3 hours, and then fix something else, which takes 2 or 3 hours.
This uncertainty hurts an already struggling military recruit younger members. The Army missed its recruiting goal last year by 25%.
In this time of uncertainty, who would want to join an organization, give them so many years of your life when you don't even know if you're going to be able to get paid or anything like that?
The frustration just increasing the more Capitol Hill becomes a battleground between Democrats and Republicans.
And they still can't figure out how to come to a common ground. And it's very frustrating.
By the time they pass that one, it'd probably be a time for a new one.
Yep. It's just, it kind of feels like a never-ending cycle at this point. Yeah. But
now we know that this stopgap bill does give Congress 2 new deadlines, one in February, another one in January, which we know are quickly approaching. And those people that we talked to for this story say they are already preparing for the worst. Reporting for Gaylord News from Washington, D.C., I'm Kevin Palomino.
President Joe Biden is expected to sign the funding bill before tomorrow's deadline.
Israeli forces search for Hamas inside of one of Gaza's main hospitals. Julia Roberts has that and the rest of today's national, international headlines from the News Center.
Israeli troops storm Al-Shifa, Gaza's main hospital, for the second time in 24 hours. Israel says it found weapons hidden in a MRI lab. The raids come after Israel's leader claims the terrorist group has a command center under the hospital. Hamas and Gaza health official says that's not true. Palestinian group says Israel is costing innocent lives as the war rages on. Back in the U.S., protesters are calling for a ceasefire in Gaza. In Washington, D.C., police says one person is in custody, 6 officers are injured, and several members of Congress were forced to evacuate due to an overnight demonstration. There has also been protests in Boston and San Francisco. New York Congressman George Santos says he will not be running for re-election. The decision comes after a report by the House Ethics Committee detailing a long list of biographical lies Santos has told throughout his life. The report also claims Santos knowingly filed misleading campaign finances reports and incomplete financial disclosures with the House. Santos is calling the report a politicized smear campaign. A California jury finds the man who broke into former U.S. House Speaker Pelosi's home and attacked her husband with a hammer guilty. David DePab faces up to 50 years in prison. Morgan, Ireland, back to you.
Thank you, Julia. When OU Nightly returns, where the U.S. stands in a maternal and infant health rating.
What one nonprofit says about the preterm births.
And new information from the CDC on how cannabis could be impacting facility workers.
Find out what illness they could develop when we come back.
Workers at marijuana processing plants are putting their health at risk while on the job. Darian Curry explains in today's Health Beat.
The CDC says people who work in marijuana processing facilities have a higher risk for developing asthma. The report comes after a 27-year-old woman started having symptoms after 3 months on the job. Investigators believe it's due to dust generated after cannabis flowers are ground. They warn asthma can kill people even if the symptoms are mild. And experts are also warning of the impacts using marijuana during pregnancy can have. A new study from the Addiction Journal found infants born to mothers who used marijuana are twice as likely to be born underweight or premature compared to infants who were not exposed to cannabis. Infants exposed to weed were also more likely to be admitted to a neonatal intensive care unit. The March of Dimes says more babies in America are being born preterm. The nonprofit says the rate of babies born before 37 weeks is among the highest in over a decade. March of Dimes also says premature birth is the leading cause of infant deaths. Last year, 20,000 babies were born premature, died before turning 1. And officials are sounding the alarm about the popular toy water beads. They say the toy poses a health risk for children if ingested. Professionals say parents should keep a watchful eye on their child while playing with water beads. Ladies?
Thanks, Darian. And next on OU Nightly, Starbucks baristas calling for a change on one of their busiest days of the year.
How it's impacting the campus location after the break.
Weather up ahead, I will tell you more coming up on OU Nightly. Welcome back to OU Nightly. Right now you are looking at that campus cam. We have a beautiful day outside, a slight breeze coming in from the south, but you really can't feel those cooler temperatures. Right now, the temperature is around 63 degrees. I don't know why it's not showing up, but it's not very humid outside either. But as for the current temperatures, 64 in Oklahoma City, Guymon 70 degrees, a little bit warmer than we are over here in the metro. Pretty much across the board, we are sitting in the upper 60s, lower 70s, but looking regionally, Kansas City, 60 degrees. We are all kind of in uniform in the upper 60s and lower 70s as well. So kind of average for this time of year, but those lows are not looking too average for us because we are going to be sitting at 53 tonight in Norman. Now normally it's around 37, but Oklahoma City is dropping into 51 degrees. Guymon, they are a little bit normal, sitting at 33 degrees. But waking up tomorrow, we are going to be warming up into the lower 60s, 64 in Oklahoma City, 64 in Norman, across the board, lower 60s, upper 60s, pretty much the same throughout. We do have a northerly wind coming in 10 to 20 miles per hour. But waking up tomorrow, 8 a.m., 53 degrees. We got that slight northerly wind and then starting to kind of cool off, 62 at noon, 64 at 2 p.m., and then dropping down into 59 by 6 o'clock tomorrow night. But as for those daily rain chances, Sunday, like I said before, we do have a chance for severe weather. This is why we have that 70% chance of rain, 40% chance even on Monday. Here's that severe weather outlook. This includes Tulsa, Norman, and even parts of Dallas as well. Now this could be changing any minute. This could be because this is a day 4 outlook, but let's look at that air mass forecast. We have that kind of stationary front right there, and then our temperature is cooling off into Saturday morning, and then we've got that first band of rain pushing in. This is where that severe weather comes, and then cooler temperatures behind that second band. But focusing more on Oklahoma City, this is our first band of rain. Like I said, this is where that severe weather is going to be. And then it's going to start to pull out into early Monday morning. But as for the next 7 days, we are going to be sticking around the lower 60s and upper 60s, or lower 60s, upper 50s.
So we're looking at doing our plans on Saturday because I'm seeing like some Sunday rain and maybe a chance of a storm, or?
Yes, absolutely. We do have a chance for that severe weather on Sunday night and into early Monday morning.
Good to
Safer
know.
to get those plans out of the way on Saturday if you're going to be out there. Thank you so much, Brianne. The Red Cup Rebellion being felt across the nation as Starbucks baristas are on strike demanding change in scheduling and staffing issues. Today's scheduled to be one of the busiest days of the year for the business as they release their reusable holiday cups. Protests took place on campus earlier today near the Oklahoma Memorial Union Starbucks location. Through the location's employees say they are university employees, not Starbucks employees, and have no connection with the Workers United Union. The campus location is remaining open with regular hours throughout the day. OU football is still searching for their shot at playing in the Big 12 championship.
The Sooners are traveling west to Cougar Country to face BYU. OU Nightly's Brig Bates will have more about the importance of that and joins us with more in sports.
Ireland, Morgan, 3 former Sooners turned pros are stepping up in the big leagues, and OU men's basketball season has started strong. Stick around to hear why. From head coach Porter Moser, sports is next. Hello, I'm Brig Bates. Welcome to sports. We've got a loaded slate that you won't want to miss. We start by tossing the pigskin. The Sooners travel west to the slopes to take on the BYU Cougars. OU needs to win out to have a chance at the Big 12 championship after losing back-to-back games. Defensive back Woody Washington said they didn't prepare well those 2 weeks, but they locked in for West Virginia, and it showed.
The same as when we were winning. I mean, just trying to make sure guys are locked in and continue to just do the small things the right way. I think those 2 weeks that during practice we didn't really practice that well, and it showed up in the game. And last week, like I said, we practiced well, and it showed up.
And someone called the Fire Truck Sooners men's hoop is smoking hot. Porter Moser and the boys are 3-0 to start their season. And the Battle of the Chisholm Trail tips off tomorrow night at the LNC versus the UT Rio Grande Valley Vaqueros. Here's head coach Porter Moser on how the Sooners are moving with meaning this year.
Aggressiveness, pace, physicality, understanding the rules. You know, we have not avoiding it, bodying up, bodying in. When you're pushing the pace and you're trying to strike the paint as much as we're trying to strike it, I think that's something we've emphasized. We're trying to make more than the other team misses. That's on our board every game.
Let's jump to the big leagues. Former Sooner star and Norman North legend Trae Young and the Atlanta Hawks hosted the New York Knicks. It was a nail-biter all game. There's Trae Young taking the lead, but it was the Jalen Brunson show with this dagger. Knicks win it 116-114, and Ice Trae was indeed cold as he only put up 15 points in the L. And the OKC Thunder are heading out west like Manifest Destiny to take on the Golden State Warriors to start their 3-game road trip. The Thunder on a 2-game win streak, and Shea Gilly, that's right, Gilgeous-Alexander, looks to stay hot and keep his streak of 25 points on 55% from the field alive, the longest streak in franchise history. And from the hardwood to the Bermuda grass, Thursday Night Football is back, featuring 2 former Sooners as the Baltimore Ravens host the Cincinnati Bengals. Mark Andrews and Joe Mixon highlight the rivalry, and this one could possibly be a pivot game in the race for the AFC North. Kickoff is at 7:15. And we might not be balling with Brig today, but it's round 2 of the Oklahoma High School football playoffs, and both Norman High schools are chasing a gold ball. Norman High travels up to take on powerhouse Bixby up there in Tulsa, and Norman North follows suit to the 918 to take on Owasso. And that's all we have from sports. Ireland, Morgan.
Thank you so much, Brig. Coming up on OU Nightly, dash cam video showing a life-saving moment between strangers.
And why one truck driver knew to jump into action.
I'm Colson Pocock at the OU Nightly Update Desk. A settlement is reached in a federal civil lawsuit against Kingfisher Public Schools and multiple football coaches. Superintendent David Glover says the district has agreed to pay Mason Mecklenburg $5 million. Mecklenburg claimed Kingfisher Public Schools covered up 2 decades of abuse at the hands of football coach Jeff Myers. The district has agreed to pay $1.25 million of the settlement within 90 days and will pay the remaining costs over the next 3 years. Superintendent Glover says the settlement is not an admission of liability. Ireland, Morgan.
Thanks, Colson. A scary situation with a happy ending over the weekend in Illinois.
A retired U.S. Army sergeant and current truck driver jumped into action when an unidentified woman who was choking pulled over for help.
Jeff Hanus was right in the right place at the right time and thankful he knew the Heimlich maneuver after losing a friend to choking years ago.
Dashcam footage was able to pick up his heroic actions, and the mom of 2 was able to get back in the car with her toddlers.
Definitely a scary situation, Morgan, but I'm for sure happy that she's back and safe and everything's good.
Absolutely. We're going to move on over to weather and get a final look at the forecast. OU Nightly meteorologist Brianne Mraz has one last look in the studio. Brianne.
Thank you, Morgan. Yes, this is the next 7 days. Tomorrow we have a little bit of cloud cover, highs in the lower 60s, lows in 53. We're going to have a sunny day into Saturday, perfect for game day if you're trying to sit outside, watch the game on your TV. Sunday night, we do have that risk for severe weather, and then we are going to drop or have a major temperature difference into Monday and Tuesday. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thank you, Brianne, and thank you for joining us on OU Nightly. I'm Morgan Martin.
And I'm Ireland Fitzer. Be sure to watch OU Nightly weekdays live at 4:30. Good night.